No.
You mean which translation, for Chinese or French?
For French, I'm doing.
So in French, giga de la console. Channel to summary. Elizabeth, are you looking at that?
What's the name of the person? Who is the person doing French?
Ina.
Yeah.
Who is the person for the French language?
Who is doing French? Does anybody know in the
It's me,
chat?
Daniel.
Oh, Daniel. Is Daniel?
Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
Yes, she did.
No, I can't see it.
Yeah, maybe make him co-host like Sophia says.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, don't do it.
Hachin, can we continue? Yes. Hachin,
Yeah, then that ngaran so that the dance in that nyamle chia to so cha the nyamle chi jo mas kadu na da ngaso nyamle chi go res hyun ba or the nyamle chi go res then that thing is that I malare be karzon sana shombe ambo tar zana sta shomba to ambo tar jungwa to tar do wa wa then jungwa to tar de de geba yong nya ma do se ge go cha jo sam no yo ma res ta ge go cha ya yo sam no yo ma res 개발 오류치도 원신도 개발 칼레 요는 용기도 다 설고 말은 알아서 개로시대 설고 말해서 램시 원신도 램시는 칼레 용기래서 어떤 중앙가 뭐 다르다 르 중앙가 뭐 야고 다르디나 나와 용냐마다 됐어 나와 용냐마 요 말해서 나와 로데치도 용신도 나와 로데치스 홉스홉스다 나와서 용기래서 센터센터 용신도 센터센터 홉스홉스다 용기래서他前的那话贴着呢，前的那话在贴上的，他俺说前的把这边口全部在口上的，他七万用年嘛都，他七万用怎么去那要嘛的他，对啊，七万拖把去，他拖家的好说是，南上用个的是，老板用心都是，我这里给把的、拿把的、七把的，有了提升不，看的那块先偷的都是，他看的那块先偷的都是，这里花就老的大是，花就就是大是都是。其他的那给说完了也，他这样的说完就有了，他那一他可能他皮带给他说高的都是那个的，他呢他高的也是呢，现在他起码还都是不的，强龙型的这一些都是。我强龙生的他的应该说那个国事强人多，他两这种做到南看不对。我国是给写了不是
？Geese 啊，
就是他们看不对两这种，他那是强龙的，他懂的他种是有点好，他是强龙那个，我是可能这边，可能这边
brain
我种是强人多啊。
哦，OK。
我他不当他的给写那他那一破个给写那他那一破个的，南看不对两这种破个的。我这那一次在起码做不的，我这两这都是小龙戏的两这的都是，我这前面中不是送的，这前着就没人中不送破的，他前着呀去那嘛，是中不送的，我送多。
So whenever you should practice whenever you can, whenever you have the time, and not put it off or delay it to a later time. Milarepa said that when when people are young, when their elements, and notice those 4 elements are expanding and strong, when we're young and youthful, then you don't think about getting old. But then age, it just creeps in slowly without you even noticing. And one day it is there, and you don't know how it happened, and you're getting old. And then he says the same is when about sickness. While you're young and your body's 5 elements are in their full bloom, you're not thinking of sickness. You're not sick. But when sickness comes, sickness strikes suddenly. It happens quickly when it happens. And also death. When we are young, we're not really thinking much about death. But death comes just like a bolt of lightning. Sometimes it hits suddenly. So this is how aging, sickness, and death suddenly arrive, and they're very close. They're like kind of companions that are very close. Like our mouth is close to the hands, so we are very close. The Lord of Death is always lying and kind of sitting there in an ambush, waiting to get us at some point. And this life, the bardo, and the next life, those 3, they are lined up just like a line of cranes or a geese, forming a line when they fly across the sky. They're lining up really neatly. And so just like that, this life, the bardo, and the next life are already lined up. And you never actually separate from these companions.
真的，咱这里咱俺说，咱娘们也不吃下去，咱们咱这就马从那里娘们吃下去，就是没来这边去这种多，可是我说呢，身边人了，人家公司，他身边人人家公司的是他强把人家强求什么，身边什么的也不公司，我当不强人家他也不公司。让你推荐全部公司，他让你推荐全部这两谁让我他这让人家他们看的那的，说是我是公的呢，我这强求什么的那点的，让是我是公，我真的基本在为那么公司，基本在为那么公司，我在为那么的公过的，说是在为那么的都是强也没办的，我这让基本来说完的被这样的公司。我真的东半年来有人是在东半年在桥在进步肯定们去过的也是。我真的在想他，这个老婆多些时间，多提开始从是呢，头把三件中不了，头把是呢他，搞来别卡的嘞，三件中不中别小，头把是呢搞来卡别给挨多了，是吧？我这搞来卡的嘞中不了，头把三件中不了，主趟车位挨说是，主趟车位，他主把他们从这主把他们这趟车位挨说是，主趟车位挨说，什么牛马让我。소마 뉴마선 소마선은 다대 시바들이다 뉴마선은 다 예도메 시바선나 들이 뉴마 소마 뉴마 라마선 라마 냠나다 마초바 선 마초바 라마 그냥네 치고레스 런데 차자 첨보 인소 런데 차자 첨보 소다 동반이데 유력생 세나 티강 냠나디스 어때 제를 거 와자인데 어때 제를 거 와자 심장 탐지 다 상대 투비하고 같은 거 봐도 치고레스 어때 다 작성 아대한 세나라 어때 냠나시야지 다 효기야 배차는 수 효기랑나 다 간마 카시스 봄나데 뭐야 계속 미나 담보 참여이 되고 그래서도 예담 카리나 되고 그래 라마르스와 디신데 그래 다 계속 좋은 데 자자 진보가 유래시 그래 제를 뭐 하지 향데 저생하대 간마가 나고 만데 다 냠나치나 저생하대 로 뭐보 냠나치 düdü티나 간마가 겁나 네 다 선두나 사리 근데 야 다 선두나 사다
So in essence, we have to do our best to practice as much as we can. And that is any practice, even if it's not just practicing Chöd. And so Milarepa said that, so what we need to practice, is cultivate compassion for sentient beings. So first, the practice has to be based on love and compassion for sentient beings, and love, compassion, and bodhicitta. And then he said, next, on the basis of this, visualize your body as Chandrisik, or you can visualize any Yidam deity, visualize the Yidam clearly based on bodhicitta. Then he said, on your crown, visualize your root guru, inseparable from Vajradhara, and supplicate to the root guru. And then sustain emptiness, or the state of Mahamudra, for a longer time. And so regarding that, an Indian master, doctor, he gave this analogy, and he said, it is like an exhausted traveler who finally reaches a resting place. He can finally relax. And so this is how it feels when the mind finally comes to rest in its natural state, the fresh and innate and naturally settled state. And so fresh here means the present moment of consciousness, of awareness. And innate means that it's the awareness that has been there primordially, the timeless awareness. And settled in its natural state, that is the state where you just let it be without altering it, without contrivance. That is the state of Mahamudra that transcends the intellect. And so that is what should be sustained for a prolonged period of time. And then number 5, he says, in the end, seal that practice with dedication prayer, where you pray for the enlightenment of all sentient beings. And so in this way, you are essentially practicing the 5-fold path of Mahamudra practice. And you can practice that for any duration. For example, you can practice it in the morning when you get up, even if you just have 5 minutes or so time, a few minutes, you can practice it. Even if you don't have a lot of time, you just start with cultivating love and compassion. Then you visualize the Yidam, you pray briefly to the Guru. And if, depending on how much time you have, you can do some meditation, resting in Mahamudra, and then you end with the dedication prayer. All of that can be done in just 5 minutes. So that's a practice. The 5-fold path is a practice that you can do in just 5 minutes. And it's also a practice that can be practiced steadily for many years.
야, 나 들이 나 저와 같이 온다. 릭사다.
So now let's do a few questions. By the way, just I have a couple of questions from before from the chat group. I don't know. Should I ask those first?
Okay.
So there's one that was from yesterday, actually. If we have a Yidam designated by a root lama, we utterly trust, which is often the main figure in Kusali Chöd, can we substitute that form for Dorjee Pamo? Tani tang so ben ang so Yidam chingala Yidam chi yu the Yidam tinga chawe lama chingala nang song tani tani ti Yidam ti da nga Kusali Chöd nyalan shebe kapla tani ti Pamo Dorjee Pamo gi chabla tani ti Yidam ti kom na chogor we tin la sare kon la Yidam chi yu na So I should be okay.
Maybe okay. Yeah.
But, and one more question from the chat I have. A friend of mine asked if they can take the church empowerment via the recording. Did Drupon Rinpoche have that intention when he gave it, that recording, the recording suffices to receive the empowerment? Rinpoche, they need to give one nang songati the get the recording and the get de la tena deni wang the chugi top to good is kerang kachang wang nang begabla tinda semnalla jorvetin pisarissa pongutua.
다 당 그전에 뭐지 차지하나 투비를 정도 차지하나 포와 이 청마 체파하면 뭐 되게 체파하면 포와도 나나 지가를 정도와 나와 좀 그러 같아. 그래서 지난 다 핵심나 다들 왕 통다서도 이 하고 같이 근데 참 이제 장조선한테 야제디 로섭시다나 아 선택이 있습니다.
So Gotcha Rinpoche actually also, he always says that if you have the intention, the right intention, you can, for example, also practice a poa for someone from afar, like through a recording. And so in that light, also I think that, so if you understand the meaning of the empowerment, try to understand the meaning of the empowerment, and then cultivate a motivation of love, compassion, and bodhicitta. And if you have that, then it should be okay.
네.
Let's see, there's one in the chat here. How can the practitioners who are practicing Chöd in English or another language that's not Tibetan integrate the Dhammaru and bell into our recitation of the sadhana? The sadhana is sung in Tibetan but chanted in English. So I'm not sure how to use the sacred instruments in this practice. Tini mi kashi tini kunsu pyoge dongi yo mari chun yomlan chebe kabla. Kunsu yana inchi ki yana kunsu sosu ki ke tin ona dongi yore. Tini namgyungi na kunsu ta pyoge dongi kabla tini ngaso di taro dang drupo di drodang chi yore wan. Tini di pyoge dang nyamdo pyoge chikche dang nyamdo drogo yosara. Tini ngaso pyoge madona tini di taro drupo di pichu kanda dang gogo yore.
단 더치 미나 저기 소 미과래 돼. 그사라 소 미과래 너 그사 소한테. 근데 더치가 미나 저기. 더치 주타 미나 미나 저기. 이제 미나 미나 저기 좀 이제 미다. 더치 미나.
So it's okay if you don't use the Dhammaru and then the bell. So for the Kusali Chöd, actually it's mainly the visualization is most important. So if you find no way to incorporate the drum and the bell, you can also do it without the instruments and just focus on the visualization.
我在现在所说给那东呢，要这种都开始呢，从大体好过了，我这好过了，要干嘛的？后给拖动呢，后给马些呢，后给马些呢，其他好过马拉夏天都在的，按这么的就主要没呢，这所说给拖动没关要不钱呢，要不这什么。
And also, it might be actually better to really focus on reciting it in your own language, in the language that you understand, because it's important that you understand the meaning of what you're reciting. That's really most important. And if you recite in Tibetan, then it might be hard to understand the meaning of what you're reciting. And so therefore, if you don't use the drum and the bell, it's fine. You can just mainly focus on the visualization.
Yeah, then.
So now, is there any difference? Is there any difference in the Chöd practice if we practice on behalf of someone else? 인가서 미셴기 제도 미셴기 잡다고 치느라 미셴기 제도 쭈냐면 치나 쭈 냐면 치로 this 카가르베 yana tana tinra vorve mishenba ki chito chunya menchina
mishenba neba ndra te rena zai di neba tin samra si zai samda neba da niki zo de neba te kimi kwa chi di namshi ya ba tin de shikho sarwa neba de mi kwa chi ne wa ta de lu jin ba dang ya de neba tin zhong zo xi ne da wa tin de shikho sa ma le neba ne na nebe tong da zhong da dang ge wa ke zhen zhou xiong ne de mishenba de na da ji ban de sa ma le
so if for example if you are practicing for a sick person, then you can, so instead of visualizing yourself, you can visualize the sick person, that the person you're practicing for, and that it's their consciousness that is moving upward. And also it's their body that is then made an offering. So this is how you can practice, for example, on behalf of a sick person. You can also do that for a person who is deceased. So that's also how we practice the ritual for the deceased. Should we be using the white offering text or also the red or also add the red offering? Then also the garkie di chipo chena yagareve yana tini market yang kanang yana market yang chena yakoto.
在这方面都是现在这个是你可以，真的在推出学长没那跟着结果，这推出什么不的你可以去想这个的。
So it doesn't really matter actually. So you can do both or either one. If you don't have too much time, you can do just the white offering, and if you have more time, you can do the white and the red offering. During which session did we get the reading transmission for Thich Nhat Hanh Kusali Chöd? Can we give the transmission of the sadhana if we have it, even if we give in our own language? I believe Garten Rinpoche has said this before, but I wasn't sure if this was applicable instruction to all Rinpoche students, or if just certain disciples had authorizations to give. The tanda di Thich Nhat Hanh Kusali Chöd long popsongis kisi mena teni long de kisi ngaso to yona teni ngaso teni long de na sosu ki na mi shembala long de nang chogo reves mena ka chen rombo chen ma chik song samsong mena sosu ki to la mi shembala long de nang chogo res yena yang nyamlen chama ki che do na mena ha po mo do ka chen rombo chen song yan de yana tini loma chama de chota ma chop tiang ha ko me do chi chinga yang loma kashe de chogo yang kashe de ma cho tinda bo chogo de we
龙的课上东下要的是娘们吃娘们龙吃这是，真的娘们前年我那在苏州给讨论东南这这是。
So you have already received the transmission by receiving the teaching. So the teaching and the transmission happened at the same time. And then also the other part of your question. So if somebody is interested in the practice, then it is fine if you give that transmission to them in your language. Is it okay to visualize? Is it okay to visualize the demons as people or animals to personify them as these images? Dini hundreds ya dim ding so mi ki thong yo mara. Dini so hundred tin so me dang yana dundro ki sok nangshin sandap na kom na chogo reves. Dini ki sandap demo da.
咱这一见美国要嘛的怎么国那的跟那个不说国嘛的，咱这国嘛的国用的用着面的国嘛的是吧？这哪的呗？俺那他这个啥的话，挺积极的呀。然后这咱这样的啥积极的就是啥的。哎呀，积极的那他这可他这国那的学生咱们这才是送咱们。
积极的，还积。
他这干几蛮几有了，他说。
没有。
中文图书馆。 做啥的话，从他，我这说那这是咱这都送咱们这有啥的，咱们这可能，咱们这有啥我们看这个的。
你看那是，你没能行的，你dundu能行干出来。
中咱们这在苏年，咱们这在，一大中咱们这有啥的，反正苏年。
얘네 공 나야 돼 인자로 코랑 문에 배나 맨랑시 맨나야라 얘나 공문에 속초 둔로 말아봐 얘나 양디 둔로 코랑 살때 톡게도 가이서 둔로 칸다도 하고다 디니 코 배나 란데스야 디 공문에 속 하나도 쉬게 말아봐 그래서 동거야 말아봐 데니 데베 데니 배나디 둔로 디니 메속 하나도 하고 그러면서 데니 디 낭신 겁나 저거를
这苏年咱们这有啥的？咱这的们这我说，他说一大按照咱们这苏年咱们这有啥？他就跟咱们这有啥？我们想这学去了。你嘛，这玩意儿过去，搞球队难多。
这玩意儿不是。
现在搞球队呢，可是送到谁呢？ 他说这是没人这样都拉票啥的吧？在咱们这车上车外就有啥的吧？小库这通道都是有，咱就让这大谁看的？我这个的去这你小马似的，这你妈这挺没提咋送的？但你这去那同学们都是拉人什么的。像咱这同学们都开始就是有啥的，呀，人讲项目的空度呀，都光都学的啥的，项目就得有啥的没提。这项目的空，地是光打啥咯？给我们这别讲到看有这样大是这中间的这没中间的说啥咯？就问这，可就这项目嘛，这不有的同样嘛都是。哦，这样讲了，这种都对，这你妈这。咱们这车上车外在冲我所在的，车外在别的车外在冲我所在的，车外在可会拿小问是吧？嚯，小
这个空中送的呢？
车外先把这可会拿小问就是，然后咱们现在的噻。
哦，
这小问对现在个谁在学堂中都没得是老那么谁有了，才能做他皮他们个谁没事拿空着是拿空着了。对呢，开始从现在个别出国到现在让现在都别忙不得那么多是吧？我真的这忙不起来，小队真的真的这老对，你妈这他是农村搞的这是农村搞有了他是农村搞。
Nobolinka，
这农村搞的这是了，这玩意儿不用这吃酱多啊，吃酱在多少件东西有啥的一下，
这张，
这多少件多了，这多少件当学啥的吧？所有东西的提纲在那课这行，这你这小弟的这人这都是吧？像这天主那所有在空所有东的，我都吃肉，这在东天主在其中就现在现在这我都吃肉东，现在课他来是来的他了，所有讲把啥东西就平时忙不啥都是，别啥学了，就所有讲有了所有套有了。提纲在啥？
那不啥个都，
忙不在啥去吃不下去，俺啥就都是课在啥就在啥在其实。这里所有东西，他这里你不出国家，是这里哪是这玩意儿？对我那里出很多噻，我有那水的是。但这是
这个sen kallar det chicham Rinpoche är det?
吃酱拿不到这玩意儿，用自己给人这玩意儿。
Ja.
这但他这做没到这那这有办法。这有的。
So in terms of visualizing, so there's no need to visualize them. So either they come or they don't come. But not in the context of actually when you're in the white or the red offering, and there's all these beings that you try to imagine. So they have all kinds of different shapes and forms. Some of them they look like hungry ghosts, and some of them actually do look like animals or humans. So you can see them in all sorts of different ways. They also do appear in many different ways. Also, once His Holiness Dalai Lama gave a teaching where he told a story about a person who had this kind of an encounter with a kind of, he believed that there was a demon that was close somewhere in Lhasa, close to Lhasa. And so then there was a monk from the Namgyal monastery. And so he thought that there is really a demon. And so then another one then said, so where is your demon? And he said, come here and wait. And he's gonna come. But then he was looking and looking and looking and couldn't find that demon. And he said, there is no demon, you're making this up. And then the other one said, well, wear this hat. He had this particular hat. He said, just wear this hat and you'll see, and stay overnight. And so then he put on that hat, and he wore the hat, and he stayed there, and the sun went down, and eventually as he looked up, he saw this really emaciated image, resemblance of a person, and he was so scared by that he immediately took off the hat again. And so then there's another story Holiness also told about a Namgyal monastery monk who had passed away. And then after he had passed away, his consciousness entered the body of another monk. And so then from there on, this sort of possessed monk, then he would not go anywhere where it's light. He would just stay in the dark, and then he would always feel very hungry and be in a lot of pain, different ailments. And so one day, His Holiness's tutor, Chicham, was at Norbolinka doing a smoke offering. So that's a smoke offering for the deceased. And while he was doing that smoke offering at Norbolinka, that same monk, he went there. And so then there was this section of recitation. Was it Ngatop Chatop? There's some recitation that they do. I guess that it's this offering that's being made to the ghosts, or there's the spirits who have passed away. And then he went there and he ate a lot. So normally he wouldn't eat much, but there he just devoured, and he ate a whole lot at that smoke offering. And after the sur offering was over, he said, "Today is the first time I'm actually feeling full. My belly is full." So that's also a story of someone where it doesn't look really like a demon or some kind of ghost, but then still it seems to be like happening in a person's body.
Yeah, didn't
Let's see.
There's one from Carolyn, a
Mhm.
student online. She asks, yesterday, Drupon Rinpoche said that when we offer our body, we should reserve our consciousness and not offer that. He said to think of it like a small bird egg and heart chakra, that the drops that come together in the heart chakra at the time of death, like a bird egg. And she's wondering, if we offer our body, where does the literal bird egg go? Is it in the mind and we don't offer the mind during Chöd, only the body? Is that right? She has a few, she's just wondering what this is about. She says, if that's true, then the body as the corpse and the mind are separated during this practice, right? Is this a, she's just trying to understand. She thinks of the drops and bindus as the physical elements and the mind as intangible. So she doesn't know how to think about this, if that's the drops as the egg, and like where does the mind go, and can Drupala clarify that?
So teni katsang gachi kaplo teni namshi ti ana tigle chungchung nangshin gom gorwa teni ti tile kabo dabo teni sa chungchung gonga nangshin ra kobore teni ti nangla teni ngang so pena sok tang ti cheso di nangla gore cheche den yorwa so nam dan ti nangla ti du teni ti manyamba ke cheto teni krogora teni ti this tini ti kara chaga yore kainsa na ti sangasora dan so lu dang sem di kaka zogo yore di kapla ta yina yang ta morang di samna tini kainsa na ko tigla rawa tini tigla sia di tsvena salon tigla dawa tigla sia di nguna vena lu supuki chashe dawa rawa ko sem mari sanga da ko supu nangi di chuji rawa na cha nang shen di damanda yore tini tigla yang yore teni tigle ti lu na supu na teni ta kong silolan rogo yorwa namshigin ngo teni namshi ti ya ko sa marwa teni namshi ti lamshi dan tigle ti chiparve yana tigle ti lu dan chiparve teni do va kabla teni ha ko sa
지가라 레노네 제탄테 세계 시리아 제탄테와 타인정원제라 티르 라고와 타인정원제 도도나 타인정 배상的타인정원이나 타이요라 타이정원 라고와 타이 와티 티강나 도도나한테 제 남시 뭐 총야제 와다 갈마런 당시 초기요라 티르 라핀도와 와티 엔두 타티 카존티나한테 라고한테 세원도 티나한테 티야 바르사두 테 도르제 내죠 마초르 송상고도 도르제 내죠 마초르네 티케 다마체 야 바르사 데 루트 마리 다 타디고라 테 남피에 도르제 파몬조르송아 도르제 내죠 마틴조르스로와 와테 엔두 티키다 루테소 파진바당야 테소 다 레카동 테체도와 테 테라마라데 테로와 Drupon.
Also, attend this area.
Mm.
So now this window or drop, it's not like a physical substance in a sense, but it's just in terms of the shape. It's like a dot, like a period, like a dot, like a white dot that is very small. It's not a bird's egg, but it's small like a bird's egg, and it's just like small like a circle. It's just like a dot or period that you make, and it's white with a reddish glow, and it represents your consciousness, and it rises and then leaves the physical body, and then that consciousness which rises in the form of this dot, this circle, that becomes Vajrayogini, and then your material body is left behind, and then that body is made an offering, but the consciousness has become Vajrayogini.
Oh.
And one more question you guys might have asked, I'm sorry if I missed. Another person said, can we practice chöd if we don't have instruments? If we're poor, can we still do this practice without these outer instruments and implements?
Tini chu penangan so di romo tini tamenda penangan so supushira mena tropashira mena tini romo tamenda mena tini chu nyamlen che pupkitu is. Yes, Drupon said we already answered that before and said it's fine if you don't have those instruments. Else?
There's a question about visualization, if Vajrayogini is synonymous with Vajravarahi or a different form, because it's not mentioned in the Sow's head.
So everyone says to me it's essentially the same, but some people do kind of make a difference, and they say that one has a sow's head and one doesn't, and they may also have a slightly different postures, like leg positions, and some people just generally give this like broad term Vajrayogini, call them all Vajrayogini. And some say now one of them is with a sow's head, but to me personally, there's no difference. Also, the lineage also seems to be the same. All of the lineage having been passed down essentially from Naropa and so forth. So maybe the appearance, the way they have their legs and so on, is a bit different, but essentially the same. So then there's one here. Do we need to do the sadhana every day or once a week, and at what time, like 3 a.m.? 이 좁다 라 괜찮아? 이 둘째 기봐요 말아. So it did say that in the commentary that basically essentially depends on your time. You can do ideally you can do the practice in 4 sessions a day, or 2 sessions in the morning and evening, or just 1 session. So you have to see how much time you have. But if you do 1 session, so for the most part we practice evenings.
I have another one. If we're working with our mind and these things are arising, anger, attachment, and so like with Mahamudra and you're saying, oh, you just say pay or forceful pay or like I'm working with my mind all the time. Am I just gonna be running around saying pay, or do you say this? Do you just say this in your mind and dispel it, or you like really need to speak it, or what's the magic of the pit?
What's that?
ที่เป็นนำต้นยมบาเล่มนัดกินอันนี้เพศกิลำนัดนี้ที่ชื่นดูกยอริสนิบายอริสสังเกตหรือเปล่าแต่ยินดีอย่างต่างกันsoยืนชื่อแบบงานนำต้นยมบายอหรือเปล่าแต่นี่ยืนชื่อแบบเพศเป็นดูกยอหรือเปล่าเงินแบบนั้นที่นี่ที่ขันเอชิโกเรยืนชื่อแบบที่นี่ที่ข้ากิสุขเช่นบทเพศลับก็เรเบสแค่นี้นะปัจจัยยมบานำต้นยืนชื่อแบบที่สตาร์กิยอหรือเปล่าแต่นี่อย่างนั้นเซมน่าสามก็เรส
하고 다 페이지 부킨 허샤샤라 쇼마리고 삼자다 남토 쇼친보 냠나치 쇼친보진 페이티 스파 조선한테 요레스 딱바 페이지 하든 그런 페이지 하시면 한데 수요나 삼바 두르세 한데 삼도 이네 오요마로 아 되네 데 스모메시든 다트네 들어와 지단 페이지 야도 그만 냠나데 이게 라인 바 쳔바 주의장 테이스 장고 요레 되는 삼삼르면 딱바 페이지 하든 쇼시야 요 말했고 그 삼삼도 이제 남토도 마카제 냠나치도 이제 공자대 같은 남토 마카는 이제 페이레스 하면 유인도 다 쳔백 주인장 안에서 냠나치도
So it's questionable whether just saying that the pet it in itself alone will just kind of eliminate all of these habitual patterns in our mind, and so that it's really meant for while you're doing your practice. Then sometimes in your practice you can shout out a pet and interrupt the thoughts. But on the other hand, also if you always keep saying pet, it also then you're maybe always attracting different gods and demons. You're drawing them in. But Roma said I'm joking. So what's most important, however, is to be mindful all the time. That's really most important, like kind of on an ongoing basis. It's not necessary to say pet all the time. You can use the pet sometimes when you're actually in your practice and there's this persistent thought that you can't do anything else about, and you apply the pet. But just on an ongoing basis, it's best to just focus really on having mindfulness.
I'm just curious, are there any stories of the results of great yogis and yoginis who have practiced the chöd of this lineage, like Dujam Lingpa's chöd with Tromanamo with the 13 rainbow bodies?
Then also Cuba nangla tini chu nyamlen chenkian ki pena logi pena yamsen daoji mixer ji yore wes pena tuchum mote da ja ji yore de la drum damenda yore pena tanga te minda tengi mendo ina da wusa pena ja wusa da wo shage de ni tamenda tuktati la kasara chale top teni ti tin da wo ki logi nganso ti su Cuba nangla yore we nganso
다시 로주세 제탕가 믹스시야 셈이 있으대다 이나 다 이제 직선송 뭐 로마 빼만 보셔지 요르서 쇼랑이마 저 제루 초어지로 다 가서 하고만 로주 중에만 로주 조시라 거기 말와가서 로주시 토나 시라 요 말게 마세 어제 로주 고샤라 마 가신 제루 초어 오지게 다 가서 로주 나로죠 어제다 레총스서다 진냠나 치네 제루 초업송 레와 레총 제루 초업송 다 남다 요라 되면 다 지수멜 로마르다 마모 제루 초어서 된다 티 고시라 요 말와 로주 생기면 로주에서 토나 시라 만도 어제 로주스니 이거 얘기 말 지금 중국어로 마 세대 냠나 야가 하는 방법 요지 어떤 자료 초 마보 초 어제 랍쇼를 된 이나다데 요말 로주도 생기 맞다 메인 치지 게라 this is 로주면 시라 요 말와 어제 이제 초 보세요 다 대송아 십자 요양에 있어
So I personally, depends. I don't personally know any stories like that, but no, Jiten Somgyan, he had many disciples, and probably many of whom have attained the rainbow body. But also in the old days, people didn't really pay much attention to like recording stories of that, so that later in the future we have a historical account. So that's why we just simply don't know about these stories, but they probably exist. Also, Milarepa's disciples, many of them probably attained the rainbow body, but we just know about the more famous ones. For example, we know about Rinpoche's story because it is written down and is recorded as him having attained the rainbow body. But there's probably many more who have attained the rainbow body of Milarepa, also Jigten Sungans and other disciples. It's just not been recorded because in the old days, people just basically didn't record like stories, didn't preserve them or archive them. And so that's why we now really don't know about them. But so that's why personally, I don't really have any of those stories to tell.
제단 지지면에 로마 망보제 글루마판 카슈에 세진바 라셔라데 가게게 많이 요조다 로마 많이 요조다 시그마라 숙세지데 다승모 시요라서 망보제 세 글루마판 카슈에 세 텐류나 삼스요라 샤텐데 세신 세존절류 첩시 이지게와
Also, it is known that Milarepa, of his many disciples, that he had several disciples who went into the Pure Land of the Dakinis without leaving behind their physical bodies. For example, there are some stories about his 8 close sons and the 4 female disciples, which are more famous. And that probably there are many others too who have also attained that. And so not leaving the body behind and going to the Dakini land is probably also the same as achieving the rainbow body.
Yeah.
Anything else here? So there's one here. Apart from the Kusali Chöd practice materials, we also received another set of practice materials named Dumu Sumtek. Does the transmission cover this practice also? Thank you. Dumu Sumtek이 이게 그래서 톱에서 하다가 아니 Kusali Chöd 이게 톱성. 되니 단다 그냥 디 Chi nang be kapla teni long rangsheng ti shoto yong yo so yin ba teni tumo sumche ki long ti nang la yan tu yo re ves tan kan ka chen la
da tin nang tumo sumche ma do ngai khlab da ya tin tumo sumche ja wa samare
and the tumo sumche, so the 3-layered tumo that was not included in the instructions or in the transmission of the instructions.
da
We need to reabsorb the visualized offered corpse back into oneself. What does that visualization look like, and does it take place before the dedication? Rodi so rodan namshi kaga sötsarava. Di sötsatu teni Jela teni road yang so yang nyam do team go reves yang chick cha go reves digi jela teni kisi yang chick cha go na yang team go na teni mikpa khanda sa da go re ti teni kisi teni che go na teni ngoba mun la ra ti ngun la dine team go reve
他说这充满记啥嘛嘞？这么多句话没有，充满把记啥了？让小白比满记啥嘞？这么多句话没有。
So, but you've already offered that corpse, that body, so there's nothing left to dissolve into. Is there anything else in here? I missed anything? I think that's everything in the chat. Yeah, but chat number
他们都还。呀，咱这啥的，真的，当你嘛这这么说这龙通子，等于嘛这龙着的，咱真同有。我们是爸爸晓得是吧？
Also, Drupon is giving the Dumo Sumtseklung.
Ja, om så baba kjøda sarva den så baba kjøda han de vingene kjenner øyne med kjøa tog 군대 달카 시제 샤제바 자샤 텐자 탄지 변成人间 진짜 샴도르지 쇼만 되면 호로만 되면 대에 투카 천정 변이네 대에 투카 천정 변이랑 뭐냐 투카 내가 초절 매운 거 삶에 메서 당고 예를 용 투카 등도小班小院地方用小院地方不受小院地方用人家的不受对系统过热球我们自然马上的红皮我们自然马上的红皮我们대에 독할 천정 변이들 하는 pom모 신이고 차니 되고 도박하는 이 공명자로 답시오 옴 사방바단 저거 마다 원하는 마다 메로즈네 홍홍 피피서 옴 사방바단 마다 원하는 마다 메로즈네 홍홍 피서 옴 사방바단 마다 원하는 마다 메로즈네 홍홍 피서 야 당에 저런 동샤요 대도 무슨 색깔이 나서
I'm muted, I'm sorry. So that was the reading transmission for the Domo Sumtek.
하트라와
That's it. Anything else?
어다 메인 안식사리
It's okay if not.
누에
Is there anything?
뭐도 잠만아 뭐도 나타내 제가 티셔츠 차보스랑 티셔츠 민나 다시 하시는 라 나 근데 당가서 트레이닝티 뒤속에 당가서 주티 거한테 다스 다스는 차서 어때 선이라는 가서 뉴네 투야지 어때네 사간데 선이 세죽섬에 뉴네 트렌지지 접히 년에 지중한 뉴네지 어때 주로이 뭐 쇼리 차로 그러와 어때 주로 호체 주로로 어때 지세지는 세중이래 어때네 뒤제는 딱 하는 뭐지 가지고 나야 어때 차차 강가마 세죽송 공단사로 세죽송 그 공단지 어주비시 중앙지 드네 다소마 되가 주도需要배 캐시모를 가르스나 나도 나다지 뭐제리지 개조시 다마뭐 뒤소 마음 로그와 어떻게 하는 뭐지 개조 그 말에 전에도 되는 상면에 소소소 냠나치야 대편도 친구 소소 강탑도 在需要特别送起过呀캐시모를 해서
So now with that, our Chöd teachings is coming to an end, and then tomorrow we will begin the Nyungne retreat. And now, according to the Tibetan Buddhist month, it is the Saga Dawa month. That's the 13th day of the Saga Dawa month. And then the Nyungne will last through the 15th and end on the 16th. Of the Tibetan day, of the Tibetan calendar. So we will hold Nyungne on the 15th and 16th. And then, so for us, that will be done when we end June 12th. And then after that, Ken Rinpoche here, he's going to teach on the Ganges Mahamudra text on then June 13, 14, and 15. And I really encourage you to...
30 evening
starting on the 13th on the evening because it's a Friday, and then 14 and 15th. And I encourage you to join these teachings. They're very important teachings. And also, Ken Rinpoche doesn't need a translator. And so often, because we have a translator, it takes more time, but he doesn't need a translator. So that's a very good use of our time. And so also very beneficial for your practice. So I really encourage you to try to make it for those teachings.
저는 다타당 나도 개조 가세요. 기준이야. 개조 가세요.
How many translators do we have now? Different languages?
Russian on their own channel and Chinese on their own channel. And English we have 5.
양대 당에 개조 좀다 가시 많이시고 다 처만 많이 마 손으로 개조 진행 처만데 두개 제 되네. 지난주 되는 가서 된들 로바치와베 두개 제에서
Yeah, so Drupon says he wants to also give a special thanks to all of the translators, and without not listing each of their names now, but thank you so much for helping with the translation.
되네. 당가랑서 대주 대기고 차리 처마제 마음바 주도 냠내 야고 용야 당 주지보 말다 칸이나 남베 주도 냠내 야고 용야 당 되네. 테나 이게 소소 수고 대상한테 들을 용야 아주 양양 냠도 냠내 센터 치트비아. 되네 레바다 되게 모난트 쉬요.
So now, as our church event, our teaching is coming to an end, I'm I hope and I pray that you will continue the practice of Chöd, and not just Chöd, but to continue the practice Buddhism, the Buddha Dharma well, and that your body will be healthy, and that we will meet again and again to practice together. And thank you to everyone who came here in person, and also everyone who followed on the live stream. And also thank you to all the volunteers, all those who helped.
Thank you. Yeah, then I got to go at the 3 months. Yeah, then you can do dedication there.
So now we do Chieftain Sumgan dedication.
The one that tapes through it. The social the intention of the 10, then also, not social. The steps through it, through and then I'm doing.
So in English.
Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root, and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, heroes, and heroines, yogini and assembly of dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions, please heed me. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all sentient beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, pride, and jealousy not arise within my mind. May thoughts of fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. And through that, may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. Even at death, may the torment of suffering not arise. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such, and in the pervasive clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo.
Yeah, I paid the Hochi, show not Joby. Sonam de Tamchi Saibani, Tone, Nepe, Jana, Pamdi, de Ajega, Nanchi, Balon, Trova, yes, Ben, Solen, Trova, Trova, Abandon Zabe Lama Rembo Che Dake Ninkara Beme Den Yone Agari Chenbo Gune Jeson Shen Guson Doji Amodro Zartu Soro Lama Gunkan Samura Sorvande Jodu Gusir Wara Surwan de Chene Tarjin Jebara Surwan de Lama Danjewa Mibara Chinje Lo Sem Chen Neba Chinyeba Anyortu Nili Chen Zhuo Ni Na Ma Lu Ba Da Du Jung Wa Me Ba Shou So Na Du Chen De Yen Tu Jin Da Kur Da Jin Na Jie Chen De San Bie Tong Zhu Ne Hua Jie Xian Ne Zha Xie Ba Samba Chushin Drobar Sho Gevin Kamson Semchen Mo Vardun Chembe Sendina Nengen Ba Banjie Tsenwa Tobar Sho Jambara Babu Jedara Jambata Agundu Sambo Deyan Deyin De Ateda Gunje Jesu Dalo Je Yewan de da tam chi rab dung o tu son ye jarwa tam chi je ngo ba kan la cho du nga ba ye da ke ve za wa di kun je Sambo jo che rab de mo var che sanje gu son ni be che la da na chu ni men jur den be che la da again du me che du be chen ham je che dar mo che mo nan ro ba sho guan qiu zong jie dian ba tang san jie dang chang qiu sen ba tam qi xin jie lab zang song ni yong si zuo wei nga tang qian bu qiu jie yin nang ba ra ta jin sam jie me cha wei Deshi tu ro para shur ye da tan kun de tam chi ye tu som tu sa pa ta yo be ge be za wan di da tan sem chen tam chi nyor tu la na me yang ta para zo be chang chu ren bo chi po para chu je ga ju la ma xiao sun ye dang la an kan ru chu sun dian du qian ha chen an na kan zi ma ni pe ren lo chi chung ni gong ni tar xian ye wa tang men ju ni wei zai wa kang dang yang xie xian zha qi de lei pun zuo xiu 一句头才点东西呗。我记得 some English.
Yeah, what we did. Page 14. By this merit may I attain omniscience. Having defeated the enemies, my wrongdoings, may I liberate all beings who are tossed in the ocean of samsara by the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. Precious, glorious root guru, seated on a lotus at my heart, hold me with kindness and bestow accomplishments of body, speech, and mind. And for the excellent health of the Guru, I pray that the Guru lives a supremely long life. I pray that the Guru's activities spread far and wide. Grant blessings that I may not be separate from my Guru. May every sick individual be quickly cured of disease. May all illness, without exception, never occur under any circumstance. By the force of this powerful merit, may the aspirations of the benefactors and their circles be accomplished within this very life. May all obstacles be pacified. May everything be auspicious, and may their wishes be fulfilled according to the Dharma. Through this virtue, may all sentient beings in the three realms and all the deceased who wander in the bardo abandon taking birth in evil states and attain the happiness of higher birth. Just as the hero Manjushri realized things as they are, so too did Samantabhadra. I will follow in their path by perfectly dedicating all of these virtues. Since all such dedications have been praised as supreme by the Buddhas of the three times, I perfectly dedicate all my roots of virtue toward excellent conduct. By the blessings of the Buddhas who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharmata, and by the blessings of the undivided Sangha order, may my aspirations be fulfilled according to this dedication. by the power of the three jewels truth, by the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the power of having fully perfected the two accumulations, and by the pure and inconceivable nature of the Dharma Dhatu, may these prayers be fulfilled accordingly. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, precious, perfectly complete awakening. Through the authentic blessings of the Kagyu lineage masters, the three jewels, Yedam deities, Dakinis, and Dharma protectors, may the Dharma kingdom of the second Nagarjuna grow, its monasteries and holy places thrive. May all conflict and malice dissolve, and may auspiciousness, goodness, and abundance prevail.
Kare Rave Gurve Shinkam Se Pentan Deva Malu Jome Jaren Se Wan Denzi Jansu Ye Shabi Zente Vardu Tenjur Je Guancho Rinchen Somje Mowani Ajarten Ziba Juve Bekaran Shan Tongke Songbo Ziba Zhemen Hundro Gadjar Shabden Sho Guancho Somje Denban Ziba Lai Ngaje Wancho Jitsun Jambi Yang Rinchen Drupon Ding Wa Chöd Nongwa Garja Shabden Shon Pape Yuna Aryara Deva Hien Dongkam Chosun Garje Raiksu Chong Jigen Gombe Tu Se Choding Ba Ban Bian Garchen Se Garjara Den La Tobe Morje Parachoje La Samtan Gombe Rare Nyache Do Jarten Sujen Wombon Jinze Ba Kanchen Goncho Jansen Shabden So English? English? What does this?
For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness without exception. Tenzin Gyatso, Lord Chenrezig, may your life remain steadfast until the end of samsara, embodiment of the three precious jewels, Padmapani, who holds the teachings of the victorious one, seeing the all-goodness meaning with the wisdom eye. May you, who are spontaneously established activities, live long for hundreds of kalpas. Noble Manjushri, the Lord of Speech, who manifests to hold the teachings of the Triple Gem, who raises the lamp of the sage's teachings, may you, who are the light of the Dharma, live long for hundreds of kalpas. Known in the noble land as Arya Deva, you emanated into the Gar clan of eastern Tibet as Chudingpa, the heart son of Jigten Gompo. May the life of glorious Garchen remain steadfast for 100 aeons. You who are richly endowed with the glorious wealth of Dharma knowledge, who through reflecting and meditating have actualized the self-aware absolute reality and shine with the 100,000 light rays of ethical discipline of the Buddha Dharma. May you, Kenshin Ratna's Waza, live long.
Xie Gunse Gunchen Chuje Je Yandere Nihela Wanton Zhigong Ba Rinchen Ba Je Tenpa Sinti Wara Ye Zhuo Tu Sang Gong Bian Zi Jur Je.
May the teachings of the great Jikungpa Ratna Shri, Master of Interdependence, Omniscient Lord of Dharma, who has seen all knowable things, be upheld through teachings and practice, through hearing, reflecting, and meditating until the end of existence.
Yeah, okay, thank you, everybody. Okay.
Page 31.
This okay, yeah. Okay. 그래도 제대로 말하는.
Thank you.
May the life of Drupon enhance the teaching before. May the noble ones who uphold the teachings encompass the earth. May the power and wealth of the teachings benefactors increase. And may the teachings auspiciously remain for a long time.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Drupon.
Karenche, Drupon La, Inala,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Rinpoche.
you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ina.
나가서 다다 그런 다르가 제디 살아 봐.
Thank you, Thank you, everyone. Mm. Mm.
네, 쇼 제법에 그거에 손도 샵도 쇼만 더. 그래. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you. 我当
Thank you,
看了
thank
过
you.
去，这趟在线谢谢，在线都就谢谢面了。光这趟啥培育我的可能，你们俩青年节的，真的，他告诉培育差年我说哇，我听你们俩青年节的在一起，第是干什么了？电子，真的，他的提，这里你们俩青年节的，真的，这里咱也这个来上的，罗不中去，真看不通了，这赶紧一种人看不起，这个兄弟们讲吧，真的，这个老松给惨的，这在
Oh, Drupon, sorry, di kompagimin sa mo nga po ako mo to kala song na.
형님의 공부 까니
Tuko chugi ni ma?
주님만은 뭐지 또
Piniti kompa chen?
까니 예로네
Kanye yeto bling.
야
Should bling. Oh, should bling.
삼칸티 다다 아스라를 열어 아스라 생고를 뭐지 좀네 어더라 열어 뭐 스라라 어때 인도 스라라 공로 좀참쇼 되네 티젤다 아래 용네 다 배로 좀만 보지 어때네 다다다 PhD 통로 여러 바퀴 되는데 어때르다 지난이기 기세라 나 가서 나초 강로 좀 요죠 땡도 기세라 강로 좀 요죠 앞에 자르친 버리 텐디 어ත네 달라마 mam보들 가초셔레 조 가르치는 뭐 제레네 아리 나온다 해서 조 지레스 가죠 뭐 쉬어 그래서 어텐디 대산이 가도디 상면에 가초셔 톱나데 야고 개절 다다 인주 개절 고구 말와테스 디시 레라그와 어ත네 상마 투제 체스팅
Also, in case you don't know, just a brief introduction to Kien Rinpoche here. So I've known him from back in my homeland, back in Tibet, and he's actually from quite close to where I'm from. And ever since back in our homeland, he's been an incredible practitioner, incredible Dharma practitioner. Already back in Tibet, and then later he arrived in India, and he then studied at under was it Drupon Chuginima Rinpoche's
자가 롭종원신 캐보 통으로와
네, 다른
되게 주님 공부하는 캐보지
so first 담보 캠보 자라와디 디첼라디 공부하셔라. Okay. So he came to India and he studied and he became a Kempo. And he completed that, and then he went to Drupon Chuginima Rinpoche's monastery, the Ganye Shedobling, and that's actually close to one of Guru Rinpoche's retreat caves, the Asura cave. And so there he entered into a 3-year retreat. And then after that, he came to America and continued to study. And he actually earned a PhD degree from the Berkeley University. And so he's really an incredible scholar and practitioner in both in Buddhism and also the traditional general knowledge. So he really has an incredible it's a repository of great knowledge. And he has received many teachings from great masters, including Gachin Rinpoche and others. And so therefore, I really encourage you to come to receive his teachings later this week. It would be very, very good. And also, he doesn't need a translator. He will speak directly in English, which also makes things much easier. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Karinche, Tujje. Thank you, Ina.
Thank you.